Okay, so in this video I wanted to talk about a new watch that I received from a company called Geyawatches. They reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to check out this watch. And when I checked out the website, it struck me as a very interesting looking watch, so I decided to check it out. So this is what we're going to look at today, and this is the box. As you can see, this it's a very large box. It's very, kudos to Geya for really nice packaging. If you look at the front of it, you can see that there's an astronaut. It's a very space themed watch, as you can imagine. So again, when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. So send me the watch, I'll check it out, I'll make a video. So here I am. So let's undo this. Again, kudos goes to Geya for, quality packing materials. This is a very nice package. So gotta give them props for that. So this is it. Again, I'm gonna take this little thing out. There's some instructions, operating instructions for the watch itself, how to use it, and how to wind it, how to set the time, etc. Cute little astronaut toy. Okay, so here's the watch. Again, very big box. I like the fact that they do include include a nice rubber strap, which is nice. I'm not really a leathery type kind of guy, especially like alligator style leather. I'm just not. It's a little too formal for my taste. And looks like a screwdriver, which actually does come in handy to set the time in this watch. And some, a little manual here, operating instruction manual or manual, and some and a warranty card, I suppose. Okay. So let's check out the watch. This is why I decided, when I saw the pictures of this thing, I knew, obviously, the first thing that came to me was that, yeah, this looks like a pretty big watch. It definitely looks like a big watch, but it's, definitely a very interesting one. When I saw this, I immediately thought of the Jacob & Co. Astronomia. It's, very expensive watch, $250,000 plus for that thing, and, it's incredible. So I thought, wow, there's a Chinese company out there that made a watch that does a lot of what the Astronomia does for hundreds of dollars versus hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I thought that was awesome. One thing I have to note that after playing with the watch a while, this watch does not contains two different movements. There's a quartz movement for the time and a separate movement for the planet. So from what I can tell, the only thing that spins around in this watch is the little model of the Earth there, the little blue model, which is kind of cool. And as you can see, we have other celestial bodies presented around the watch face. But the only thing that I could tell that moves is planet Earth right there in the 6 o'clock area of the watch. How do you wind it? This is a manual wind movement to make the planet spin around. So you actually kind of flip this open and then you manually wind it. It's a little tricky. Kind of it flips down, especially if you're wearing gloves. A little tricky to wind the thing. I've noticed that it helps a lot if you just sort of keep it flat like this, and that way it keeps it, and it's still kind of a little hard to wind there, but that's how you wind the thing to get the planet to keep moving. I'm going to give it a good wind. So as you can see, the watch, I got a good wind going on the watch here, and as you can see, it kind of gives, if you look at the movement, it kind of looks like a tourbillon. I'm going to give you a much better look at this planet spinning at the bottom. There. So the crystal is extremely domed, as you can see, which kind of reminds me a little bit of an astronaut's helmet in a way. I can almost, if you look at it like that, it can almost picture like someone's face being there, which is kind of cool. I think it kind of lends itself to the space themed of this watch. I like the fact that you can see into the watch there, into the sides here with the there's sapphire, looks like sapphire crystal throughout and on the sides as well, so you can kind of peek in and see what's going on a little through the sides there, which is kind of cool. It is a rather big watch. I think looks like it's about a 46 millimeter in diameter watch. which is a little big for me. I'll put it on my wrist in a second, and you can see how it fits on my 7¼ wrist in a second. I should also mention that there's like a astronaut motif in the back with a, you know, looks like Saturn there, and again, pretty cool. And if you look at this little circle here, up here above where you would wind it, that is where you set the quartz movement, which is what the time is working on. I have it already set, but if you just like push down on the button here, if you do it one time for like or less than a second, it'll move like a minute. If you hold it down, it'll like start spinning relatively slowly but pretty accurately. So I was able to set the time pretty well on this thing. But that's how you would set it. It's a pretty easy to set thing. One thing I should note is obviously when you wind this thing, the instructions say you have to give it about 18 good winds to get it going, and it should last about 48 hours. One of the pros of having a quartz movement for the time is that, you know, it's grab and go. If you want to wear the watch, this, you know, the time won't. You don't have to like wind it. The time will already be set. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty interesting watch. That's why I agreed to check it out. You know, the fact that you can get something that resembles the Jacob & Co. Astronomia for, I think right now it's on sale for $600. I'll put a link in the description. And if you're interested, you know, if you like space and you like astronomy and you want to wear a representation of the solar system on your wrist, you know, maybe this could be the watch for you. And I think it presents a good value in the fact that, you know, this is significantly less expensive. It's not even in the same league as far as the Jacob & Co. as far as cost, but it kind of gives you the vibe, you know. And if you want the vibe, this is could be a good watch for you to check out. And I think it's certainly very interesting. And I think, you know, geyawatches did a good job packaging it up, especially with the really nice packaging and the watch itself, which is definitely feels like a good quality piece, you know, well finished and, you know, very interesting watch. My one criticism, and I gotta, you know, for this to be a fair review, I wish they would have had it run off of the one mechanical movement, but I understand this is probably very complex and very costly, and this is a relatively inexpensive watch. And there's a reason why the Astronomia costs almost $300,000. It's because it's complicated and very expensive to do. So this gives you that flavor. This gives you a watch that kind of looks like that for a lot less money. So there's that. This is what the watch looks like on my 7¼ wrist. Again, I would say this is about as big of a watch that I could probably pull off on my wrist, at least that I would want to wear. And definitely has some wrist presence. I could have to admit. It's pretty tall, but you know, a lot of that probably a third of the height is the actual, you know, dome crystal, which is in itself pretty interesting. But yeah, there you go. If you have maybe 6½ or smaller inch wrist, you know, this might look a little big on you, but if you're used to wearing bigger watches, you should be just fine. But anyway, if you have any questions about the watch, feel free to leave them in the comments. It really helps the channel a lot if you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.